kids. Today we're going to hear about when God told Jeremiah what to write, and it comes from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 36. When King Jehoiakim was the king of Judah, God spoke to the prophet Jeremiah, and God said, "Take a scroll and write my words on it. Perhaps if the people hear the disaster that is planned, they will stop their evil ways. Then I will forgive their sins." Jeremiah called for his scribe, Baruch, and as Jeremiah spoke all the words the Lord had spoken to him, Baruch wrote the words on a scroll. Then Jeremiah told Baruch to go to the temple and read the words to the people. One man who heard the words from the scroll told the king's officials what he heard. The officials sent for Baruch and asked him to read the words. When they heard the words, they looked at each other in fear and asked, "How did you write this?" And Baruch explained, "Jeremiah told me God's words. I wrote them on the scroll in ink." The officials told Baruch, "You and Jeremiah must hide. Do not tell anyone where you are." King Jehoiakim was at the winter house. It was cold, and he had a fire burning in front of him. The king sent his servant Jehudi to get the scroll. As Jehudi read the words, the king and his men were not at all afraid of God's warning. Instead, as soon as Jehudi read each part of the scroll, the king cut that part off with a knife and threw it into the fire. He kept doing this until the whole scroll was burned up. God spoke to Jeremiah again. He said, "Take another scroll. Write on it the same words I told you to write on the first scroll. Tell King Jehoiakim that I will bring disaster on him and the people. I warned them, but they did not listen." Jeremiah gave another scroll to Baruch. Baruch wrote the same words as before, and God added many more words to the new scroll. Jesus taught that Scripture is true. And the true scripture that Baruch wrote down that God had told Jeremiah is true. We know this because the Bible can always be trusted. Our verse today is 2 Timothy 3:16, which says, "All scripture is inspired by God and is profitable for teaching, for rebuking, for correcting, and for training in righteousness." Today's faith question is, what is our only hope in life and death? And here's the truth bomb, kids, that we are not our own, but we belong to God. God is very clear in the Bible that we belong to Him. Romans 14:7-8 says, "For none of us lives to himself, but none of us dies to himself. And if we live to the Lord. And if we die to the Lord. So then, whether we live or whether we die, we are the Lord's." Our hope in life and death comes from the fact that we are God's. Just like God directed the writers of the Bible what to say, God directs us as well. Everything we do is to be for God, not for ourselves. Because we are not our own, but God's. We are created by God. We are saved through Jesus. We belong to God, and through Him is our only hope. Our truth bomb today is that we are not our own, but we belong to God. Let's say that together. We are not our own, but we belong to God.